Hey, Skol Nation. What's up, you purple-blooded warriors? This is your die-hard Vikings fan, straight from the heart of Minnesota, breaking down the hottest Vikings news today because man, if you're not fired up about our boys in purple, who are you even rooting for? Picture this. Our secondary, already battered like a quarterback in a Brian Flores blitz, just took another gut punch that could change everything. Jeff Okudah, our CB3 with sky-high potential, is sidelined, out for at least 4 games with a brutal concussion. But hold up, is this the end of the world for our D, or just fuel for the fire? Stick with me through this roller coaster of updates, because I've got the raw details that'll have you yelling, Skol, or cursing the injury gods. Who's ready to dive into the chaos? Let's roll. In this nightmare season where injuries are hitting us harder than a Justin Jefferson stiff arm, Jeff Okudah became the latest Viking to crash the IR party last week, and it's got me pacing my living room like it's 4th and goal. The guy, who we signed back in March on that sweet 1-year, $2.35 million deal, was supposed to be our defensive steal, the 3rd overall pick from 2020, finally living up to the hype in the Twin Cities. But nope. After a concussion in the Week 8 loss to the Chargers, and missing the epic win over the Lions, the coaching staff slapped him on injured reserve indefinitely. That's at least 4 games gone, folks. Starting with that heartbreaking Week 10 slip to the Ravens. How's that for a plot twist? Our D, sitting pretty at 11th in EPA per play through 10 weeks, now has a gaping hole. What do you think, fans? Did we jinx him with all that training camp buzz? Before we spiral into full panic mode, let's pump the brakes and remember, this isn't our first rodeo with a banged-up backfield. Okudah's been grinding through 9 weeks of hell, logging just 6 games with 14 tackles and a fumble recovery, but 0 passes defended. Ouch. NBC Sports' Mike Florio nailed it last weekend. QBs have been lighting him up like a Christmas tree, posting a ridiculous 146.5 passer rating against him. It's like the moment he steps on the field, the offense draws a big red arrow pointing right at number 8. Sad as it is, especially with the NFL's concussion protocol kicking in hard, his second brain rattler this year, it's not like we're losing a shutdown corner here. Flores' scheme thrives on versatility, and honestly, Okudah's been our weak link more often than not. But hey, prayers up for a quick recovery, brother. Football needs warriors like you healthy. Now, what's the silver lining in this purple storm cloud? Enter Fabian Moreau, the 31-year-old vet we've been stashing on the practice squad like a secret weapon, and Brian Flores just promoted him to the active roster faster than you can say, nickel package. Moreau's stepped up big in the last 2 games we missed Okudah, holding his own and even outshining our guy in coverage. Talk about flipping the script. He's not the flashiest, but in Flores' world where safeties moonlight as CB3S, Moreau's steady hands are gold. We've burned through our practice squad call-ups with him, so this is official. He's our CB3 now, locking down that slot while we grind. Vikings fans, doesn't this feel like vintage Flores magic? Turning lemons into a defensive lemonade stand? Drop in the comments. Moreau for the win, or nah? But wait, hold the phone. Where the heck is Dwight McGlothern in all this? Back in late August, this second-year corner snagged a spot on the 53-man roster, while Moreau cooled his heels on the practice squad. And I was pumped. Kid's got that raw athleticism, the kind that screams future starter. Fast forward to mid-season madness, and McGlothern's barely sniffing the field, only popping up in blowout losses like a ghost in purple. When Okudah went down, I figured, boom, elevate the young blood. Instead, we leapfrog straight to Moreau. It's baffling, right? He's on the depth chart, but not getting reps when we need him most. Flores, what's the play here? Saving him for a rainy day? Or is there smoke I'm missing? Tell me your theories below. Let's crack this code together. Shifting gears to the bigger picture, because Vikings news doesn't stop at one injury. It's the whole cursed symphony this year, and Okudah is just the latest verse. Remember the rumblings heading into 2025? Training camp was electric. Insiders like the Viking Age's Adam Carlson were buzzing that Okudah was making big strides, poised to fortify our questionable corner room and turn it competitive. We inked him hoping for that value bang. $2.35 million for a former Lion top pick? Steal. But 6 games in, it's been crickets on the splash plays, and now IR looms like a season ender. Fans, it's heartbreaking. Injuries are the NFL's cruelest thief, robbing guys of their shot to shine. Yet, are D's still humming at 11th in EPA, resilient as hell? Does this make Okudah our biggest offseason regret, or just a bump in the road? As we stare down the barrel of Okudah's absence, let's talk timelines, because hope's not lost entirely. His earliest return? Week 14, right here at US Bank Stadium against those wandering Washington Commanders. That's 4 long weeks of Moreau manning the fort, with Flores scheming safeties into corners like it's his favorite hobby. By then, who knows? Maybe Okudah shakes off the cobwebs and roars back, or Moreau cements himself as the guy. Either way, it's not a death knell. Our secondary's built for this grind. Imagine the storyline. The prodigal CB returns, picks off a pass, and the crowd erupts. Or, plot twist, we roll with the hot hand and never look back. What's your bet? Skol fam. Redemption arc or new era? Diving deeper into the defensive dominoes, because losing Okudah isn't just about one spot. It's a ripple effect on how Flores dials up the pressure. We've leaned on that aggressive front with guys like Jonathan Greenid and Andrew Van Ginkel, full go after tweaks, feasting, but without reliable slot coverage, QBs get comfy peeking our way. Moreau's promotion? Smart insurance. He's held up in limited snaps, allowing just a 78.4 passer rating against in his Vikings cameos this year. Compare that to Okudah's nightmare 146.5, and it's night and day. Flores loves this hybrid look, blurring lines between CBs and safeties, so expect more of Theo Jackson, questionable but probable, rotating in. This chess, not checkers, and our D's EPA rank proves we're winning pieces. But let's not sugarcoat it. Okudah's struggles pre-injury were glaring, and that's the elephant in the purple room. In those 6 outings, opponents targeted him like he was wearing a neon sign. 14 tackles, sure, but 0 PDs and QBs carving him up for big gains. It was visible frustration, guys checking in, spotting the mismatch, and boom, throw city. The Viking age hit the nail. He was a disappointment after all that hype, a free agent fizzle in a room we needed to bolster. Still, my heart goes out. Concussions don't discriminate, and at 26, he's got bounces left. Quick heel, Jeff, prove the doubters wrong somewhere down the line. Fans, ever feel that mix of pity and pragmatism? Hit the comments. Zooming out to the transaction wire, because Vikings news is buzzing with moves that scream, adapt or die. Alongside Okudah's IR gut punch, we elevated RB Corey Kiner to the active roster, undrafted out of Cincinnati, bringing that fresh leg spark behind Aaron Jones, who's questionable with his AC joint but expected back. And don't sleep on Kiner's 3rd activation this year. Guys averaging solid yards in limited looks. It's all hands on deck as we prep for the Bears. But this CB shuffle? It's Flores saying, we've got depth. Let's use it. Moreau's not a savior, but he's glue. Consistent, veteran savvy without the drama. How deep does this bench need to go before we're unbreakable? Now, circling back to McGlothern, because seriously, this snub's got me scratching my head like it's a bad replay call. Earned that roster spot in August with flashes of shutdown speed. Yet here we are, mid-season, and he's a healthy scratch in crunch time. When Okudah hit the trainer's table, my first thought, Wheelin' Dwight. But nope, Moreau gets the nod, and McGlothern's relegated to garbage time. Is it scheme fit, confidence issue, or Flores playing the long game, grooming him behind the scenes? The depth chart lists him as CB4, but actions speak louder if we're not unleashing him now. When Skol Nation, sound off. Give the kid a shot, or trust the vet. As we wrap this injury saga, let's honor the resilience that's defined our 2025 Vikings. 4-5 after that Ravens heartbreaker, but still clawing with an 11th ranked D in EPA. Okudah is out, but Moreau's in, McGlothern's lurking, and Flores' brain trust is scheming masterpieces. It's not ideal, but it's ours, purple pride in the trenches. From the $2.35 million gamble to the concussion cruel twist, this story's got more chapters. Adam Carlson said it best. Hoped for value, got heartbreak, but he'll quick, Jeff. What's the moral here? Fans? Depth wins championships, or never bet on one guy. Teasing the horizon, because no Vikings news drop is complete without eyes on the prize. That Week 14 homecoming versus Washington could be Okudah's prodigal son moment or Moreau's coronation. For weeks is eternity in the NFL. Time for tweaks, trades, maybe even McGlothern's breakout. Our secondary's bent but unbroken, with safeties like Cameron Bynum ready to hybrid hustle. Imagine the U.S. Bank roar if we hold M under 20 points. The suspense city, and I'm all in. You feeling the electricity too? Or sweating the what-ifs? But before we charge into Bears territory this Sunday, wait, hold up, we just gutted out the Ravens. 4-5 record staring us down, and now Chicago comes knocking at U.S. Bank Stadium. Okudah's absence looms large against Caleb Williams' arm, but Moreau's got the reins, and our pass rush is salivating. Expect blitz packages galore with Van Ginkel full steam. It's revenge time, remember Week 1's thriller? Let's flip the script. Vikings fans, who's your defensive MVP pick for this clash? Jones if he plays or Flores scheme? Wrapping this epic with fire in my veins. Because despite the IR blues, our Vikings are built for battles like this. Gritty, unbreakable, purple forever. From Okudah's tough break to Moreau's rise, McGlothern's mystery, and that D ranking humming at 11th, we've got stories for days. It's not the fairy tale we dreamed, but it's real, raw NFL drama. Quick shout to the latest from Vikings.com. Okudah's protocol strict, but teams rallying. No major updates beyond the IR call, but if anything drops, you know I'm on it. All right, Skol Warriors, that's your deep dive into the Okudah earthquake and beyond. Heartache, hustle, and hope all wrapped in purple. What hit you hardest? The injury curse, Moreau's glow-up, or McGlothern's bench warmer blues? Drop your hottest takes in the comments. Smash that like if you're bleeding Vikings gold. Subscribe for daily doses of this passion-fueled news, and share with your fellow fans so we conquer the feed together. Let's get this W over the Bears. Skol Vikings. Who's with me?